All right. We're back, baby. Thomas LaMountain. What a treat.
Thank you for having me so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I'm very excited to be here.
I was saying the average height of this podcast for the last like 4 podcasts I've done has probably been like 6'4". How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Yeah, dude, these tall, strapping men.
I do lie though to people like at parties. I'll be like, "Oh, I'm 5'11".
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny because someone else said that they try to lie down. I think Sean was like, "Yeah, I lie down. I lie in the opposite direction." What is the what's the point of that? So you don't seem too threatening?
No, it's more of just like a mind game with the other guys in the room because they'll be, 5'10", 5'9". They'll be like, no, I'm 6 foot.
Almost forgot my sunglasses.
Oh my
dude.
God, put those on. Put those
All right, now we're rocking.
$7,000 sunglasses.
All right, now I got some shit to say. Yeah, you don't want to intimidate the other men in there. Why don't you just want to be the ultimate alpha?
Yeah, no, I want to intimidate. It's really to be
Set
the ultimate
bar low.
alpha. It's to go, oh, I'm 5'11", and all these 5'9" guys come up to girls, and they go, oh, I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
And then I stand right next to them. They go, something's
not quite.
He's 5'11", he's 6 foot. What's going on here?
Gotcha. So you're like setting the bar you're like, this is what 5'11" is. So you're making everybody else seem small. Yeah, I would hate to be at a party with you.
Yeah,
I would
I'm
be
not
like
fun.
I would be like 4'11". You'd be like,
Well,
who
Thomas
is this
said he was
little munchkin?
5'11". How tall are you? You're like, I'm 3'10", honestly.
Yeah, I'm tall enough, all right? Tall enough to be at this party. That's all that matters.
Listen, I got past the bouncer who had the little stick, where it's like, are you taller than this? Get on in. Come on.
Yeah. No, that's a good height, though. You've done a little modeling in your day. Let's get into it.
You know what? Let's just dive into it.
I know modeling. I was a little boy model back in the day. I don't know if that's what they call it.
To Catch a Predator? Is
Yeah,
that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I wish. I never made it to Catch a Predator, but I was a model for this store called Maurice the Pants Man. And I think I did
are you
like
sure
one.
it's not To Catch a Predator? Maurice the Pants
Yeah,
Man?
the more I think about it, and I don't know that we got paid anything. I think they just gave us clothes.
They just gave you pants.
I remember getting like a Dallas Cowboys sweatshirt out of the deal, and that was the end of my career. I never got like any more. I thought it was going to lead to like nonstop.
You were like, this could go. I could be on Disney here soon.
Yeah, I thought
Maurice the Pants Man.
I thought it was going to be huge, but it never. And now it's out of business. So,
it's funny. I started modeling when I was like 14. We're gonna get into it now.
Oh yeah, that's a sexy age.
That's a good age.
Modeling.
That's like prime sex appeal age is 14.
Yeah,
I believe.
14.
And I think should be
That's
the
when
age
you're at your prime?
No, never mind. yeah. That's when I really peaked. I had a Justin Bieber bowl haircut. I had gap teeth.
Yeah. You were tall?
I was, for some reason, like in 8th grade, I was what you see now. I was like 170, 6'2", and I've not changed in the past. I'm 22 now, so 8 years.
So did someone come and like seek you out? They're like, this hot little boy needs to be a model?
So weirdly enough, like my 8th grade math teacher, we were family friends, and her daughter models. And so she was like, oh my gosh, Thomas should really model. He'd do great at this.
Yeah. Where is this? Where's that accent from? Is that Minnesota?
It's not even a Minnesota accent. I'm born and raised in Nebraska. I started modeling in Nebraska.
All right, that makes sense.
But I just think, it's just so funny to talk like this, Oh, come on.
What's the Nebraska accent?
We don't have one.
Yeah.
We don't have one. There's a bunch of, I guess, like call centers in Nebraska because we have just the most plain accent.
It works out. You guys are universally boring, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah. We're just like, what do you want? Car insurance.
You got it.
All right, come on.
Sounds fun. So there was so your teacher was like, yeah, this guy.
Yeah,
this guy's got a future.
So she texted my mom, or probably went up there like at my sister's softball game or something like that, and was like, you know what Thomas should do? And then boom, the rest is history. First off, I wasn't sitting here at 14 being like, oh yeah, I got what it takes to model.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think many straight guys are like, yeah, I can't wait to just try on clothes for a living.
Yeah, my mom didn't come up to me and I was like, I've been waiting for you to ask me to model. Come on. We all know I have the it.
I knew I was a sexy boy. Finally, other people are admitting it.
No, but then I signed with an agent in Nebraska, and she started like booking me local work there. And then like randomly I got super lucky, and I got a contract when I was 15 in New York.
That's crazy.
Which is not really heard of, like, because usually
what year was this?
This was I was 15, so 2016.
Wow. So they could still have like white dude, like straight white dudes.
Yeah, we were straight white, blonde hair, blue eyed guys were like still on top.
Okay.
Yeah, still on top. We hadn't hit that. You know, you have to look weird, and we cannot tell what your race is.
Right.
It wasn't there yet.
Right. Or gender.
Yeah.
They probably don't even want to know your gender.
They just got it. Like people come in now, and they're like, what are you?
Yeah.
I don't even. Okay.
Yeah.
You're hired.
Yeah.
H&M needs you.
So you have to like leave school, or what do you have to do?
There was a couple times where I had to leave school. For also, weirdly enough, I did not brag about my modeling to like, I still to this day, I'd rarely like talk about it with my friends because I think it's such just like a.
Well, I think
dickhead thing to do.
Zoolander kind of ruined it for
people would call me
everybody.
Blue Steel like in high school, and I was like, you didn't give a shit about me before I did this at all.
Yeah, that's a tough one to overcome, especially as a dude. Yeah, you don't want people just knowing you like, oh, I'm this really handsome dude.
People would be like, oh yeah, here's Thomas. He's the model, and I'm like, I'm so many other things.
Yeah,
like I also play baseball sometimes. Like there's
not
levels
well, but I play it.
Listen, I'm on the bench.
There.
I'm the bat boy, but I'm on the team technically. It's technically on the team.
So
it's
you go. So they're like, yeah, come model in New York. So you're.
Yeah, for some reason, this agency in New York was like, oh yeah, this 15-year-old white kid from Nebraska, he's got it. Let's bring him on out to New York.
Probably never seen anything like you before in New York.
No,
a white dude with blonde hair.
They were like, oh, he's got it all.
Yeah.
No, I went with my parents and I flew out there and we went for New York Fashion Week, like when I was 15.
Damn.
And so I'm like, I remember the first thing I had to go to was a Tommy Hilfiger like audition or casting thing, and I'm sitting there like, I don't even fucking know what I'm doing. I've been in this industry, quote unquote, for less than a year, and so I'm just so scared. We missed the subway because I have no idea what we're doing in New York.
This is like a movie, basically.
Pretty much. And then I didn't book any job at all when there, because I would go to every casting and they'd be like, hey, this guy looks kind of young. I don't know about him. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking 15. I don't know I can't even drive. Yeah. I'm not allowed to drive here.
Were they like, this guy lacks the talent? He doesn't have the it factor?
No, I think they were just like, hey, you literally look 14,
right?
And you're going up against all these 25-year-olds who have been doing it for years.
Some real handsome studs.
Yeah.
There must have been some hotties there, huh? New York Fashion Week.
That's probably one of the best things about being a model is just like going to all these castings.
By good-looking people, and you're just like, yeah, you're not as good looking as I am.
No,
that's a weird thing to compete with because it's just like.
Well, you got to think. You go into it's like probably what film auditions are, where you go in and you sit down and you see just 12 other guys that look exactly like you, and you're like, no fucking way I'm getting this.
Yeah, we're all the same.
Yeah, but now I've gotten to a point in my career where I am just I love going to castings because every guy at these castings, they come in and we're all wearing fucking like ripped jeans and a tank top, and we all did like 6 push-ups outside before we came in, you know, and everyone's kind of mad dogging everyone and looking everyone up down, you know, seeing
it's
what's
exactly
going on.
what you would expect it to be.
It's exactly what it's very hostile, but like at the end of the day, it's all just a bunch of 20-something-year-old dudes.
And it's like if they either like your look or they don't. It probably has nothing to do with like, I can't imagine personality comes into it a whole lot. That's
so like secondary. I know everyone's like, be super nice because then they'll want to work with you. It's no, you have to look super hot, and then when you get the job, be super nice.
Right. Just don't blow it afterwards.
Yeah. After like I've heard stories of like people coming to auditions or castings and like the director is the guy signing people in to be like, oh, who's actually a dickhead? Yeah. And not. So then when they go into the actual room, no, like it's like, oh, and they turn it on, you know, and they're super nice all of a sudden. Yeah. It's like, no. Chris from Next Models is actually a piece of shit. Don't book him.
So are you guys all like hanging out with each other? Like you guys were you ever in any cool like any model gangs?
Because we would stay. When you go to these places, and when I got older and I wasn't with my parents, you'd stay in model apartments.
That's amazing.
And it's not, but it is.
It's like the Olympics, dude.
It kind of is.
Where they're just like fucking nonstop.
Everyone's fucking. Everyone's so hot.
And you can't really be like, oh, you're too pretty for me. It's like, no, everyone, the world has decided I'm pretty enough to be here. So
someone was stupid enough to pay me to be pretty.
Yeah,
and now I'm here. But no, like it would just be. But it's like it's not what you think. 'Cause it's just a bunch of bunk beds in this, 3-bedroom New York apartment. Excuse me. And then so you're just with a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
In these bunk beds, like, and
Just
it's
being like, so
kind of hell.
So we're all beautiful, huh? What do you guys What do you guys want to talk about?
We're like, let's talk about like skincare or something. How do you guys cut your cuticles? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the important things in life.
Is there any homosexual activities that occur in those things? I would think you'd just be like, it'd be like prison gay. You're like, I'm not gay, but these guys are just so damn pretty.
There's only been like one guy. I've lived with one gay guy, and the only time we got mad at him was when he brought another dude over, and he just like didn't tell us.
That's a little awkward.
Because like once again, it's bunk beds, so we all kind of sleep in the same room. So like we were all out and about doing whatever. We walk in, and this dude's fucking another dude. And it's not like, whoa, you fucking a dude. It's like, whoa, just send us a text.
Yeah.
Send us a little
Put a sign on the door.
Hey, I got someone here. We'll stay out a little longer. It's no problem.
That's a fun one to walk in on.
We're just like, oh, okay, bye.
I've told this story a million times, but I was in a sauna one time and 2 guys started like blowing each other, like from me to you, like from here to you. Just we're all just sitting there. I'm like, all right, I guess this is.
Was there any
this
like?
Is what happened?
Was
there was no talking.
No chatter. Just like it's on.
No chat. That was almost the most impressive thing. Was like I don't think they knew each other. They kind of just like made eye contact. One dude took his dick out. The other dude just started. I know. On it.
I've heard about that because I hang out with a lot of gay people down here in Miami, and I had this problem of like staring at people, and it's not like in a just like it's more like in an and I think it's in an alpha way of people be staring at me, and so I'll just stare you down. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not gonna break eye contact and be a little bitch.
You're a Cornhusker.
Yeah, I'm a Cornhusker.
You guys don't back down for nothing.
I'm not gonna back down if some pretty beautiful man is staring at me.
Right. I'm gonna kiss him.
Yeah, I told my buddy that, and he's like, "That's a gay thing." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, they're
just like the long eye contact and
then meet me in the bathroom.
Whoever breaks. Yeah, that's why it would be wild to be in that gay scene because it's just like nobody's saying no. You know, it's just all yeses. Everywhere you go, it's a yes.
Yeah, and I'm worried now that there's a bunch of like men in bathrooms that are waiting for me.
Yeah,
like
probably.
Where the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, you probably disappointed a lot of dudes.
I'm waiting for some guy like to come up to me like 20 minutes after I stare them down and be like, "Where the fuck were you?
Yeah,
where were you?"
Yeah, we made an agreement. We had a fucking agreement.
We stared at each other for such a long time, and then I was in the handicap stall, and you were not there.
Yeah. And I ended up hooking up with some ugly dude. Yeah. It looked nothing like you. I just had to settle for whatever was
my
there.
day. You ruined my day. I had to hang up with a rando.
But yeah, there's probably a lot of that. But that must have been a while. So you guys are at like camp with
pretty much
with all models. That's
just
wild.
A pretty boy summer camp.
And then you just take it, and then it's just like, what was the biggest gig you ever got?
The biggest gig? Wow. See, I never really got like big things.
No billboards.
God, I'm waiting for a billboard one day.
We'll have you back on the pod when you get a billboard.
I know. I'm gonna take a picture of it in front of it like an asshole.
Oh yeah, if I was on a billboard,
you have to,
dude. People would not hear the end of that.
I was in Istanbul for 3 months recently, and I kept getting rebooked with this company who was I'm gonna compare it to like the Kohl's of Turkey, and I just kept shooting their National Geographic clothing line.
That's amazing.
And
they take you to cool places. I mean, Istanbul's pretty sweet.
No, I mean, yeah, you get like contracts in different places. So I got like a 3-month contract in Istanbul. So I flew out there, and I just was with an agency, and they were just trying to book me as much as I could,
whoring you out.
Pretty much, and it was fine. I was okay to be whored out. I guess.
Yeah, of course. When you're in Istanbul, what's the dating scene like in Istanbul? Did you get to dabble in that?
I did get to dabble. I was on Bumble and like Tinder there, and it was great because I would just use the same line. I was there for 3 months, but I would always just like match with these like Turkish women, and I would say, I'm like, "Hey, I'm leaving in a week. Like, what are you doing tonight?"
Urgency.
Just so they'd be like, "Oh," and like it worked. Like it didn't work all the time. Let's be honest.
Hey, the ones that like it.
The ones that did, they were like, "Hey, come over to my house," and then I would always go over there, we'd do whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'd go, oh man, I got a flight in the morning. And I'd leave.
It's a great excuse.
It's a great excuse.
You
And
have an
they're
easy
none
out.
the wiser until
Yeah,
they go
they
on
don't
Bumble
know.
again and go 6 miles
This
away.
guy is still here.
This
This guy's never leaving.
fucker's still here.
Yeah, that does work, huh? The urgency thing.
But it was also great because the dates, like everything is so cheap in Istanbul.
Really?
The currency is like 18 to 1. And
Everybody speaking English there?
broken English.
Yeah, they try.
Everyone tries, which is nice because they would be like, "Oh, sorry, my English is not good," and I'd be like, "My Turkish is nothing. I don't. Why don't apologize
We don't
to
have
me."
any other option here.
I feel like such an asshole being like an American.
Dude, that's the thing. When people can't speak good English, it's like, yeah, but you still speak some English. So it's
Yeah.
like that's our only option here. It's like I've gone on dates with girls that speak little English, but not much. And I'll try to speak Spanish, and we get to like 3 sentences, and it's like, all right, back to English.
No,
Or we'll use the translator app. You ever done that? You ever use
Oh my
the
gosh.
translator app? That's
I
fun.
do, and it's the worst waiting for them to type what they have to say.
It's tough to get any sort of chemistry going when you're like, hey,
No.
you're pretty. And they're like,
And they have to grab the phone from you and be like, and you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs like,
yeah.
God, I hope it's something good.
They're like, when are we leaving? Can you take me home now?
And it takes 5 minutes, and then it just says, "You're pretty too."
It's like, it took
Okay.
you that long to think of that?
Well, all right. We're gonna be here all night, aren't we? You're sick.
But it is
fuck,
fun.
question mark?
It is fun. I do want to learn Spanish because I think it would open up a whole nother world for you here.
I'm
Have you
waiting.
dabbled in that?
I'm waiting for a Latina to
Force you
come
to
into my
learn it.
life and like teach me Spanish.
But the thing is, you have to meet somebody that speaks no English and then date them. Because I dated a girl who had only lived here for like 3 years, but her English was perfect, so we never spoke Spanish. But that would have been the time for me to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
But it was like,
No, but I just think that
if you're having like a heated argument with somebody, you can't be like, okay, hold on, let me think of it in Spanish, in a different language.
wait, pause. We're gonna switch over to Spanish. Look like, all right?
Yeah. One thing is though, you can like dominate arguments, because you can just think faster if it's somebody that's not.
Like, hold on, I'm translating in my head. You
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
slow down.
Yeah,
No.
it's an unfair advantage because you have so many more words at your discretion that you could just take it in so many different directions.
I bet arguing with them was just how many times would they just circle back?
Yeah, it kind of was like, well, luckily I'm not a manipulative type, but if I wanted to, I could have
Really?
easily like manipulated the conversation, just like had them running in circles, But
Just
I
start
feel like
using
I'm
really big words.
I feel like I'm a good transition for Spanish women because I talk nice and slow. I use simple words. It's almost like they can. I'm the perfect.
See, I'm not. I talk way too fast. I'm way too hyper.
That's the thing. You don't realize how much like you like mumble and shit like that when you're trying to, or like how many
No.
words you say that like they'll be like, what does that mean? I'm like, I don't know what I just said. I have no idea what I even mean.
I had to explain to a Turkish man what Cry Me a River meant because we were listening to Justin Timberlake, obviously. And
Why wouldn't you be?
I know it was a morning. And we're like, oh, let's play Cry Me a River.
Yeah.
And he was like, shoot. He's the photographer, and he's like, Cry Me a River. What is this? What the Cry Me a River? What is that?
I mean, that's an easy one.
But I blanked on it so hard. I was like, it's Cry Me a River.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
It's like, oh, you don't like me? Cry Me a River.
Yeah.
I just kept saying it over and over again. Like, it's Cry Me a River. You got it. You'll figure it out.
That's the other thing. Like phrases that you use that seem very normal to us are very, very strange and really don't make sense. But you just say them anyway because it's just the easiest way to say a thing. But cry me a river is like
That's pretty.
That guy can cry me a river if
Yeah.
he doesn't know that.
He figured it out. At
He
the
should
end.
fucking figure that one out.
It took a minute, but there was a couple of people like that because I lived with. Once again, I was living in a model apartment in Istanbul, but this wasn't like there was 0 Americans there. It was like Serbians, Russians, Italians, all these different types. But the Italian guy was so funny because like everyone, like you said, everyone's trying to speak English, but the Italian guy would like come into my room and be like, Thomas, I take you have tomato. I take.
It's like, God damn it!
And I'm
dude,
just like, what do you want? What do you want?
just point to it.
Just do whatever.
Yeah, you don't have time for niceties when it comes to like you got to be direct.
No,
you know?
I'm like that's what my problem was, is that people would. It happens here in Miami too with Spanish speakers, is that I'm way too like Midwestern and too nice. So people will come up to me and be and like, you know, English is not their first language, and they'll be like, "Oh, do you want tea? Do you want coffee?" And I always go, "Oh no, thank you, I appreciate it though." And I'm like, they do not understand.
They don't need this
anything that you just said.
It's no,
just
yes or no.
Say no. Yeah, just say no. But
Yeah.
I'm so like,
less is more.
I'm like, oh man, I really appreciate it, but like, I'm okay for right now, but maybe later. And they're like, what?
What country has the hottest people, do you think?
Man,
I imagine like Serbians are what? That's like
Serbians
Middle
are-
Eastern, or that's like Russian.
Serbians are more like on the Russian scale, like Jokic
Yeah,
is
he's
Serbian.
Serbian.
So they're
All right,
more
he's
like
not that
they're more
sexy.
like white and Russian. But there was 2 Serbian girls I lived with who like spoke the best English, and they're also gorgeous. But they spoke the best English, so I just would hang out with them all the time.
Yeah.
But I think Russians, like there's something in the water in Russia that makes just like these sticks of women with just like huge boobs.
Yeah.
And like
all natural?
Like yeah, natural.
Do you have to be natural to be a model, or you could be all?
I mean, I just got done with a Miami Swim Week. I will tell you right now, you do not have to be natural
Really?
to be a model.
That feels like cheating. That feels like performance enhancers or like HGH or something.
It's definitely it. I was talking to, like I said, Miami Swim Week was just this week, and I was talking to a couple like of the natural models, and they were all like, "I'm not gonna get this job because I don't got a BBL," you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Drew, why do you want a BBL?
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like I feel like the natural look almost is more. It's pretty. It's especially in modeling. It feels like it's
it's more. It's authentic. It's like it's honestly what people like in the modeling industry like right now are kind of getting mad about in a way, where it is all these like, you know, plus size models and stuff like that. And there's a place for that obviously, but even my agent will be like, it's modeling. It's like
Yeah.
you want that to be like what you strive for.
It's almost like if they made the NBA like all inclusive, like everybody can play in the NBA. It's like fuck yeah, dude, I could be in the NBA.
Then you
now.
wouldn't look at LeBron the same way.
Also, it's plus size and all these other sizes. What about fucking short people? You don't see short modeling.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah, dude. Like, what the fuck, dude?
You can't
let us in.
You see, they're so short that like they don't reach like the tall people's ears.
That's a weird thing. That tall is important for modeling because it's like it's pictures. It could be like, you know.
Yeah, no,
Who cares?
it's runway. You have to be like a certain height, and like you got to be.
I guess that makes sense.
You have to
They
be
want
tall
everybody
and
to be
skinny. That's
uniform.
all runway. But then when it gets to like more print and more catalog and stuff like that, you could be short. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start applying for.
You'd be like a
modeling
good
gigs.
hand model.
Even that, no, I got filthy fingernails. You ever have filthy fingernails? I feel like I've been getting called out for that lately.
I don't get called out.
It was never
for
a thing, and I'm like, I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe I
never
have some
been-
sort of fungus growing under my nails.
I mean, it's something. I promise you that. But I've looked at my. No one's ever called me out for it. But there are days where I'm like, oh
You're
my
like, oh
God.
shit, this is not good.
If anyone
These are
saw-
not going inside a woman
No.
anytime soon, and she would be terrified.
I'm like, before I am with a lady, I'm like, wash your fucking hands,
yeah,
Thomas.
I should probably think to do that, huh? Or just get a manicure,
If
maybe.
a girl's coming over, nails are clipped every time.
Yeah.
I just, you know what? We could be going like axe throwing. I'm like, I better clip my nails.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
in case.
my nails are always short. I always bite my nails, so they're never long, but somehow they're filthy. I don't know why.
I had my nail biting problem, but then I got like Invisalign nail, like those clear
Yeah,
retainers,
and you couldn't bite your
and
fingernails.
it just stopped me in my tracks.
Really? I don't know if
So
I'd
now I
want to
just
get
do-
rid of that habit because then it just adds another chore that I have to do.
Yeah, but now I just do heroin instead.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
way better.
I gotta hop on something else.
Yeah, you fixed nail biting with a way
I'm
more.
like, what else can
damaging.
I do to pass the time? You know, when I'm bored. What about black
That's the
tar
thing. I
heroin?
don't even know when I'm biting my nails, but my nails just end up at this level. So it's like if I didn't bite my nails and had to clip them, I'd be like, oh, there's another thing.
It's like a bruise that you didn't know you had. And you're like, where the fuck did this come from?
toenails too. I've never clipped my toenails.
Oh, yeah. I don't clip my toe. I like pick at them
Yeah.
or like tear them
That's
off.
kind of like that. Like feels good,
Oh, it feels so
right?
good.
It is gratifying.
Listen, when I would bite my nails, I was having the time of my life.
Could you bite your toenails?
No.
Oh, I know some people that can bite their toenails.
I remember
if
when
I could, I would.
I used to. I mean, if I could be that flexible, I'd do a lot of things.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably wouldn't. You probably would start at your dick and work your. You probably would never
Yeah.
make your way to your toes.
Which is, I think it's safe to say every man has tried to suck his own dick at one point in life.
I'm so unflexible; it hasn't even crossed my mind.
Really, you were just
Yeah.
like, "There's."
I can't even like when you're sitting down and you reach out for your toes. I can't. I've never been able to do that.
I feel like even so, you're just sitting there like, I shouldn't even fucking.
Yeah,
try.
I'm like, don't even think
Don't
about
even-
it.
It's not even
Because
worth
it would be more painful than pleasure. And also, what if you,
You
find
just
out?
fuck your back. You're like, no.
What if you find out that you like that? That's a dark hole that I wouldn't want to go down.
I had a buddy who I think he just had a large penis, and that's how he could make it happen.
Yeah.
But he was able to do it, and we're like, oh, how's that? And he's like, it's not even fun. It's kind of. I think it was like, it's kind of gay, man. I was like, it kind of.
Yeah, it's the gayest.
Because I remember one of my like youth group leaders one time was like, masturbation is gay. You're a man pleasuring a man. That's fucked up. And so really, if you can
He's
suck
like,
your own dick,
let me do it for you.
yeah, he's like, don't do it yourself. Come over here
Get
in
a
this
friend to
back
do it.
stall.
Get an older youth pastor to do it for you.
Let me show you the proper
That's
way
what
to
God
not
would
sin.
want. That's a weird thing when you're an older man talking to kids about like any take you have on it is gonna be weird. If you're like, yeah, do it all the time, that's weird. If you're like, don't do it, that's also
It's like,
weird.
hey,
It's
mind
like
your-
just
mind
fucking
your business.
Yeah, just don't. Just
Don't,
kids are gonna
don't bring
figure-
it up. Don't
and-
bring it up.
and they're gonna do it like kids are gonna figure it out.
Yeah, you think my
regardless,
youth
know?
pastor in 7th grade was like the guy who was like who stopped me from jerking off?
Yeah, no.
He's like, that's a sin. I went, oh, not gonna do that anymore. That's off the table.
I think I do remember. You grew up Catholic, Christian, what?
I grew up just Christian, just normal Christian. I grew up Lutheran technically.
Yeah.
But then I was a part of like weird like after school like youth group things.
Oh yeah. That's
just
where you
because they
see
had
some-
dodgeball and donuts.
Yeah,
I was
of
like,
course.
I'm with this.
Yeah, that's how they bait you in. They get fun shit. We had that at my church too. We had a thing at my church where during mass, I don't know if you guys had this, but they would take all the kids out and bring them downstairs and give us like donuts and then do some church shit and then bring us back up to the parents, and the parents were like, oh, that was great. But now in hindsight, I'm like, how did you let us, just a group of kids, go downstairs and be like, yeah, don't worry about what's happening down
I grew
there.
up in like this really big church. So like all the parents would go to the one big church, but there was also like a high school section and a middle school section.
Yeah.
Like all those kids would go there.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious because like, yeah, we would do the same thing where we're all gonna play hide and seek, and then at the end of the game they'd be like, you ever feel lost? You know Jesus is trying to find you. That's kind of the whole hide and seek message we got going
always
on.
Always gotta be a.
And I'm sitting there like, boring. Can we just play hide and seek again? What are we doing with this old Jesus dude?
Yeah, I remember thinking like way later than I should have that like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be jerking off because somebody's God's watching me.
It used to be like, yeah, God's watching you, and then I got over that, and then like my grandpa died, and I was like,
that was another one
man.
too. Yeah, like maybe my
he's
grandparents are watching me.
Yeah.
That was weird, and I think I thought that like into high school, mate, like way longer than I should have been. Like,
It still crosses my mind. Sometimes I'll just be doing some like weird shit, and not like I don't want to get into it.
yeah,
But like,
please do.
But like, then you like, do you ever like, you kind of pause a little bit and you go, God, if they are watching me,
Yeah, it's not good. Not
like,
a good
am I
look.
gonna get up to heaven and my grandpa's
Be
gonna be
"Yo,
like,
we saw all that.
what the fuck was that? Why are you bringing animals into
Yeah,
this?
that was excessive. Even for us. Even for us Cornhuskers, that was a lot.
I get to the pearly gates and God's like, no, we saw all of that. We can't. We have rules here. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. But yeah, it is. It's also like built into us. I don't know if it's built into everybody, but to like feel bad after like any sort of like sex stuff or anything, you're kind of like, damn.
It's that post-nut clarity, really, that just gets you.
Yeah.
But that's
What is that?
You know what? Girls don't get that. Do you ever know that?
They don't, and it's weird. Yeah, they feel like proud of themselves.
Which is such bullshit.
I know.
Like, why do us guys
Maybe it's like an endorphin thing. Like we release a lot of endorphins, but so do they though. So they should feel bad too.
Isn't it? It's supposed to be like the super like high peak and then like immediate crash afterwards. But women would have the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just because guys have it easy in every other aspect that it's like
just like.
And if we felt good after fucking, imagine how much more we would do it. They have to put that in as like a stopgap to be like, all right.
That's why girls can like have multiple orgasms because they're like,
so they claim. I've never seen it live, but
I mean, listen, I don't know if I've ever made a girl orgasm, but I believe women.
Yeah.
I believe women,
and they've told you,
and I trust them. And if they say I did a good job, I'm gonna sort of trust them. Yeah.
Sometimes if they're overreacting, I'm like, okay, I know it's not this good.
Sometimes they're making.
Like I have enough of a sample size to know that it's not this great.
They're like moaning a little too loud, and you're like, no, I'm not this good.
I'm like, you must be thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, this is not.
Yeah, you almost get mad at them. You're like, who are you thinking about right now?
You're like, I'm still going through the ABCs down here. All right. I went one time through and I was like, I think you liked B the most. So let's do it again.
Yeah. When does that go away?
Sadness of not making a woman come?
Just not being so excited for sex that you're just like, oh, I'm going to come immediately. Maybe when I get older.
Maybe when you get older. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still young. I'm 22, man.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. When did you start doing comedy?
A year ago.
Wow, that's crazy.
I just hit my 1 year point.
Good for you, not relying on your looks. You're like, fuck this, I'm gonna make something of myself. These looks aren't gonna last forever.
No, I'd always wanted to do like, not like I always wanted to do comedy in some sense, but I remember I was always like, I gotta do an open mic at least once in my life. And then I came down here, I took an improv class, and then they had stand-up shows, and I went and saw one. I was like, I can fucking do this shit.
This is easy.
That's not it. These guys aren't even funny.
Yeah. I got some shit to say.
Who's this guy? Chris Kenbach?
This guy stinks.
This guy sucks. One-liners?
Anything else? Tell a story, dude.
Was there, because you do mainly one-liners. That's your bread and butter, and you do it so well.
Oh, stop it.
You do. You're the Miami's Anthony Jeselnik.
You're not getting paid from this podcast. I hope you know that.
You're honestly bad at comedy. No, but when you started doing comedy, because how long have you been doing comedy?
5-6 years now.
5-6 years. When you
Maybe
started,
longer than that.
Were you immediately like one-liners? That's what I like to do, or was like
that was all I knew how to do? Yeah, I think I was a big Jeselnik guy, of course.
I love him.
Yeah, who couldn't be? And I was just like, oh, this is how you do it. Because I would see other guys, I would love like other guys, like Bill Burr, Louis, obviously those guys. But I was like, I could never do that. I could never like tell a long story. But I was like, I could come up with one joke, and then do another one out. But then it's like, had I known that it was going to be so difficult, because it's like when you first start, you're just thinking, okay, how do I get 2 minutes? How do I get 1 minute? And now it's like, now you got to do more time. It's like, oh, I should have learned how to tell a story.
Now I have to do one-liners for 30 minutes.
I should have learned an instrument or something, or some sort of gag
All right,
that could eat up some time.
That was my one-liners. I'm going to play the flute for a little bit. You're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, just anything. Just like smashing watermelons or some shit. Just anything that kills.
Card tricks. You're just like, all right. And,
exactly.
That's enough of the comedy section of my performance.
Yeah, but that was it.
Juggle.
That was all I knew how to do. Also, kind of being nervous in the beginning, where you're just like, you can't handle silence, so you just want to get to the joke right away. That's another thing.
I'm a year in, so I still struggle with that, because then I will be telling stories, and a lot of times, like, I won't have a good punch, or like something that I thought was really funny in the middle doesn't get that laugh.
You guys, just trust me, it's gonna get somewhere.
But then there's times where like I'm telling a story, and halfway through in my mind I'm like, oh, the punch is not good enough for this.
If they didn't like that, they're definitely not gonna like.
I have like a couple of jokes that are like a good 4 or 5 minutes long, but it's usually like good punches, throughout, but it's on like one topic.
Right.
And I'll get halfway through, like 2 minutes in, and they're not really on board with it. And I'll be like, oh no.
Fucked.
I got I got 2 more minutes of this, and the last bit is not good enough to like bring it back.
That was the feeling. I just couldn't deal with it, and I was like, I have to have another joke. The first time I ever did a performance was like in front of like at least the first time I did in front of like a real crowd. I think I maybe told like 3 jokes. I was probably up there for like 60 seconds. I was supposed to do like 7 minutes, and I had all my jokes written down. And looking back at it, it was like 3 jokes that I had written down. I was just like, all right, that's it.
That's all. That's all.
I don't have like backup plans here.
Dude, are you like?
This is it.
All right, I'm Chris Kinback. I'll see you later.
Yeah, that's it. I probably cried.
Kinback.
I probably cried after that. Kinback. Well, you made me question how I even say my name.
Sometimes I'm like Kinback. No,
it can be
it's
whatever.
an I.
It's
Kinback.
whatever people want to call me.
Really?
Sometimes people get pissed if people fuck up their name. It's like, who cares? You know.
My last name's LaMountain. You know, it's just spelled LaMountain. There'd be so many times where I'd be at like school events or something like that, and they'd be like, "All right, and coming up is Thomas LaMountain," and I'm like, "Don't overcomplicate it."
It feels like it should be like that. Yeah, it almost feels too simple.
It's like it's not a trick question though.
Right.
We Americanized it for everyone else.
It means
LaMountain.
The mountain.
It's the mountain. There's no trick
What is
questions.
it? French?
French, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, people are like LaMountain, and I'm like, no, nope.
LaMountain.
It's LaMountain. That's it.
Is there capitals?
Capital M.
Wow.
Capital L, capital M.
It, huh?
I know. And it's the best though when like people are like, all right, spell your name for me. I go LaMountain. I'm not going to spell mountain to you.
Yeah.
Like you should know. You're an adult. You should know how to spell mountain.
Figure it out. So you moved to Miami.
I moved to Miami. Yeah.
What made you move to Miami?
Modeling. I got a modeling contract here, and I came down here for that. I was going to stay like 2 months and just try to model and see if I got jobs and work here, and like nothing happened for a good month and a half. I was just sitting around doing nothing, and I was like, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm going to go back to Nebraska. I don't care enough.
Yeah.
And then I
can't ever go back to Nebraska.
No,
I
texted my dad. I texted my dad and I was like, listen, I can't. Like I'm gonna come home. Nothing's happening. I'm gonna head home. And he's like, what the fuck is in Nebraska for you?
We don't want you back here.
He's like, oh, the cornfields really missed you.
What would you do if you went back to Nebraska?
I would just keep working. Like there was nothing. I was
on the fields.
Yeah, just working in the fields.
Do they have buildings there?
They're still out of wood, you know.
Yeah.
They still every building has like those saloon doors that like
That's
never.
what I imagine Nebraska to be.
Never hit the floor, never touch the ceiling. They just go.
Yeah.
You know when you open them.
Oh, do I ever? So you came here, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna just fucking make this work. Yeah. And now you're here.
I came here. I made it work.
You're in the middle of it.
My agent. Here, I work for Front Model Management. My agent here got me a job.
Can you get me a gig?
Yeah, he
put in a good word for him.
I mean, he loves bald guys.
There's got to be a market out there.
There's
somewhere.
Gotta be.
If they need a very specific look, be like, I've actually got the exact guy we need for this.
I have and he's funny too.
They're like that.
Does he tell stories?
No,
hold on now.
Not once.
No,
not good ones.
Yeah, he got me a gig here. And then, so I was like, all right, cool. I guess I'll stay for a little longer. I ended up getting a place here. And then I met another model who was like, tell me like, oh, I did this improv class and it just like made me like a better like actor and better model. Like you should do it. So I found an improv class, like I said, saw stand up and I was like, I can fucking do that. I don't care. I can do that right now.
And now you want to do.
No, yeah.
You prefer stand up over modeling?
Stand up is more like modeling. I get a modeling gig, once every 2 months. It's not that frequent. Like auditions come in, but every pretty person.
And Ashton Kutcher started as a model, right?
Yeah.
So, and he's from where? Iowa?
He's from Iowa.
You're the next Ashton Kutcher.
People in Nebraska, we don't like Iowa. We don't fuck with Iowa.
Really?
We have better corn. And it's a big old rivalry.
Yeah, it's funny that even the shitty places have rivalries.
Like North Dakota and South Dakota.
You're more shitty than we are. Yeah, like Boston, New York had a rivalry.
I feel like those aren't shitty places though.
It kind of is because like Boston is just such a time. I mean, sports wise, we got good sports, but it's like city wise, people are like, oh, Boston's a better city. It's like, no, it's not. New York is.
It's 10 times better.
Is way bigger, way better. It's got more of everything. That being said,
I'd be like,
Boston is-
Nebraska's such a better state than Florida. It's like,
Yeah.
maybe, but it's,
Can't compete.
You can't, those are
where do you
apples
want to
and-
be, Nebraska or Miami? Everybody would want to be in Miami.
Yeah. When do you want to settle down? Like,
yeah,
I'll
exactly.
go to Miami.
So you came here, and now you're
Now I'm doing
it.
Now I'm doing stand up, and I love it, man. I do love it, but I'm so like when I started out doing stand up, I want to get going. Like I know I got
the
it.
itch. Yeah.
I got it, and so I would go to this one open mic, one at Villain Theater. You know, I'd go every Tuesday. I don't know what must have been delusional, but I would go and I would write every week a new 5 minutes, and I would just go up and I would perform a new 5 minutes every single
That's
week.
impressive.
And like, yeah, I mean,
It's crazy.
It's not all hitting, but like, I'm getting laughs.
But still, yeah, you're putting yourself in a pressure cooker.
Yeah, just because I was like, no, I'm going to show them that I have material that I like. If they want to book me for a show to do
talent, I can
10
do
minutes.
I can do 2 hours now. If you add up all my 5-minute sets, they're like, wow, this guy's got endless material.
I got it.
Endless mediocre material.
Yeah. This guy's got like some okay jokes.
He can kill some time. That's for sure.
He's a great middle.
We could go on tour together, dude. You could just kill time, and then
Here's Thomas Mountain. He's gonna do like 20 minutes of just
I'll do a
bullshit.
joke. You kill some time. I'll do a joke. You kill some time. That would be
When you run out of one-liners, I just come out,
yeah.
fill like 10 minutes, and you're like, all right, I wrote a couple other one-liners, so we're back.
That
we're back.
asshole made me think of some good jokes. Yeah, dude, that's wild that you just hopped right into it. Because I think when I started, I was like the opposite. I would like go do it. I'd be like, fuck this. Like, I can't do this. I'd wait like 3 months, go back. But it's like once you get the itch, you have to just gotta scratch it. You know?
And you'd see like all these. I'd see the other people at the open mics, you know, and there's some low class, you know, talent going up, and I was like, no, I'm so egotistical in this sense. I was like I'm better than these guys. I have to show people.
If nothing else, I'm better looking than these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And people are gonna want to look at me on stage.
That was my
more than
edge.
these
They were
people.
like, oh, he has shit jokes, but like, God, is he good looking? He could sell.
It doesn't hurt. It's something. It's an angle.
He could sell. That's the only reason why Sean Kett's doing good in this industry.
Why? 'Cause he's not handsome.
Because he's a little handsome. He's tall.
Yeah, you get a touch of handsomeness, and it goes a long way, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we like to do some Florida man stories. Have you had any good Florida? Any specific Florida stories that have happened to you while you've been here?
Not really.
Nothing crazy?
I got swindled out of like $200 because I was dumb enough. The people that drive up there and are like, we got to leave the city. We'll trade you this Rolex watch for money. And I was like, just new here and still
they
too
saw it on your
Midwest.
face. They're like, this guy.
They saw me walking
a
around
sucker.
and they were like, but they're so good though, because they drive up in a nice car, like a fairly nice car, and they have the whole family in the car. Like, it's not just like a dude rolling up. It's like a dude rolling up, you know, nice button-down shirt, Rolex watch, gold chain. He's got his fucking old like mom there, 2 kids in the back seat.
I think this has happened to me once, but I didn't fall for it. But it is a pretty good scam. And what did they say?
They were just like,
They have a watch.
They have like a watch, and they have like a ring and necklace, and like a necklace, and they're like, oh, well, here, we'll give you this. We'll give you money. And at first I was like, hey, I'll give you $20. You know, like I'll give you like
They want to give you money and the jewelry.
They want to give me the jewelry and
you
trade
pay
it
them.
for money.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's these crazy things called pawn shops. You'd love them.
Yeah.
They're great. They do the same thing, but it's not weird.
What a weird racket that is. That means that works enough for them to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they got like $100 out of me.
That's crazy.
That's
insane. So what did you give them?
I gave them 100 because like I had like 20. I had like $100 in my wallet, and they just kept pestering me, and I was like,
what a sucker.
but then they gave me like
You would not last in New York City, dude. You can't go to
I've
New York
lived
City.
in New York City like a good amount. Like I lived there for 3 months when I was 16. I lived there for another 3 months when I was
been a sitting
19.
duck at that point. Yeah. So they
got me.
Did you get the watch at least?
I got the watch and the necklace,
Oh,
and
there
they're
you
both
go.
fake.
Yeah, of course.
Both
What did you
fake.
think? They were real?
Yeah, but I'm like, ooh, the girls at the club won't know.
Yeah,
no,
they have
no
no
one know
idea.
the difference.
All right, here we got a good story here. Florida man arrested after allegedly holding masseuse at gunpoint and demanding sex act.
That's not too out of the ordinary.
No, that doesn't seem too specific to Florida, but hey, it's on Florida. Florida man facing charges after he allegedly held a masseuse at gunpoint while demanding her to perform a sexual act on him. He's been arrested over 20 times. You wouldn't think a guy like that would have a record, but he does. It wasn't his first time.
Was it?
Oh,
was it his
Jesus.
first masseuse related?
That's the
crime?
thing. It's also like there is a billion of these around here. Not that I know of. Not that I know personally, but I've heard that there's these. There's obviously enough of these rub and tugs around here where you don't need a gunpoint.
The little happy ending place. So really, it's his fault.
Yeah, for not looking ahead. You can just Google.
You can just Google
rub and
happy
tug.
ending. Yeah, happy ending fucking masseuse
Yeah,
places.
they're not hiding it. And also, you know when you walk into a place whether it is one or whether it isn't one.
By how dirty it is.
Yeah. Well, not to get into too many details, but they'll be wearing like stuff that you're like, this is not a masseuse. This is not a masseuse place.
Why is she wearing a ball gag?
Yeah, it's very obvious when you stumble into one of those, intentionally or unintentionally.
You ever been to one?
I'm not going to comment on that, but
Fair enough.
yeah, no, I've stumbled into one.
Stumbled
or two
in
before.
just accidentally.
Well, when I lived in New York, I had one right across the street from me, and I had friends that went and would tell me about it. I'm like, I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to see for myself.
There's only so much power in a man.
I went in to
like,
break it up. I went in to be like, hey, ladies, shut this down. But while I was there, I was like,
you're like, hey, enough is enough, guys. You should not be giving hand jobs for money.
yeah. But
they're
they
like-
are very,
They're like, don't shut us down. How can we persuade you?
yeah, it's very like matter of fact. There's no confusing what it is and stuff in there. It's like as soon as you get in there, it's like, all right, this is what it is.
Well, now I wanted to go to my one regret is that when I was in Turkey, I never went to a Turkish bath
Yeah.
where they like
That seems like there'd be a lot of homoerotic behavior there.
yeah, they literally just like scrub you down.
That's pretty sweet.
And I did not do it. And it's like the one thing I'm like, what?
So that
what a
sounds like
waste.
it's basically like a whorehouse, like a brothel. Yeah.
Yeah. And but
they
like
masquerade it as a shower from a female. What if you get like the wrong?
That's the fears that you go there and you
come
get
here for a shower or not?
Yeah, you get fucking Olaf, coming in here, the 200-pound, Turkish guy. You're like, oh no, I want a Giselle. What happened?
Yeah. The victim stated they do not do that at her business, police said in a news release.
That's good, because I was curious, like, whether or not they did do that and they just were refusing him.
That might have been it. I mean, I have a feeling this place probably does do it.
Because also, who's going to be like, oh no, we do that for sure.
Yeah, but you got to pay for it. He probably just didn't want to pay for it.
We
And
jerk our
also,
clients off.
they have like certain rules there, And this guy wanted
Rules like no guns.
no guns, no. You can't bring like friends in with you, You
Who would do? That's what who would be like, hey, Chris, I'm going to go get a rub and tug. You want to come with me?
Yeah, I need supervision while I'm in there.
I want to make sure no funny business goes down.
Yeah, I want to make sure they're not up to something.
It's like when you take your friend on a date, just to make sure.
The woman escaped to a neighboring business and called the police, who later tracked down the man.
What do you mean by escape? I would assume that they're in like a small room.
Yeah, and he's got a gun. How do you escape?
He's got a gun.
that?
You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'll go get the jerk off lotion. Just give me 1 second.
If someone's holding me up at gunpoint, they're probably making the rules at that point.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I wouldn't do at gunpoint.
I know what I would do. Jerk a guy off.
Yeah.
I would jerk a guy off for sure at gunpoint.
Even
if that's
even
all
not,
he wants.
Even not at gunpoint, I'd probably do that.
Yeah.
If a guy was just seemed like he could beat me up, I'd be like,
If you could just persuade
you want
me.
me to jerk you off? He's like, no. Like, oh, I thought that's what you were going for.
You ever heard the thing where it's like if the devil ever challenged you to like one thing, what would you do? And like some guy answered, I'd challenge him to who can jerk me off the best. Because either I beat the devil or I get a hand job worth my soul.
A sweet hand job from the devil.
Yeah.
That would probably not be great, though. That would probably be a very angry hand job.
Yeah, but it's got to be good, or else he doesn't get my soul.
Oh, this one I think we might have done before, but nobody listens to this anyway, so.
That's fair.
Florida man arrested for allegedly having sex with a dog in public and damaging a church nativity scene.
In one go?
I know, that's crazy. Arrested after he allegedly had sex with a dog in front of people and then damaged a church nativity scene and attempted to steal a vehicle. I love that they put attempted to steal a vehicle at the end.
So
they really buried the lead there.
So it wasn't one go. So it wasn't. So yeah, it was
He had
pretty
a lot
much. He
going
was
on
trying
there.
to steal a vehicle. While in the process of that, he was maybe fucking a dog. Allegedly, he was
That's
maybe
a
fucking
lot.
a dog.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a busy day for that guy.
Yeah, what is?
Like that would take me like a week to do all that, I think.
He must be just free time all day.
That's like somebody who's playing who thinks they're playing a video game.
I
That
gotta
doesn't
know.
realize they're in real life.
They're like, what? People are watching?
After he had sex with a dog in front of people.
Allegedly.
I don't
Let's
understand.
not.
Mason was walking a golden doodle owned by someone he knows when he publicly had sex with the dog in front of witnesses, including a child. I wonder if it's extra time because he did it in front of a child. When he was approached by one of the witnesses, he reportedly fled the scene and began to wreak havoc in the surrounding areas.
If I can't fuck this dog, no one's having fun in this general area.
Exactly. Where he broke potted plants, tossed around children's toys. This guy is a fucking menace.
So pretty much, he tried to fuck his friend's dog. First off,
Yeah,
hate to be the friend.
And a golden doodle, that's a very sweet dog.
That's a
isn't it?
fuckable dog, though. If
It
it
is.
were to be any dog.
In his defense.
But like,
I wonder, because they're not saying he attempted to have sex with the dog. They're saying he had sex with the dog.
but then they also backpedal and they go, allegedly he had sex. This is what the people are saying. We don't know quite yet.
$400 in damages. That's the worst part.
I think the funniest thing is that he tried to have sex with his dog. People were like, hey, don't do that in front of children.
And he's like, how dare you tell
and
me
then
what
he just
to do?
throws his little temper
I hope you
tantrum,
didn't like this nativity scene.
knocking over potted plants like, Jesus, don't watch me fuck this dog.
What are we? I can't even understand how that would, how the logistics work on fucking an animal. You
It's
probably
like-
know from being from Nebraska.
Oh, I do. Let me get into this. First,
You know
off,
anybody
you have
that's
to
ever-
use small condoms?
You know anybody that's ever had a relationship with an animal?
Well, I think every single person has always had that girl that goes to another school close to you that fucked a dog.
I definitely have that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
ours blew a dog, and it's an actual person.
It always is.
But nobody knows if
But
they.
no one
I
knows.
never fact checked it or anything. It was just one of
Everyone's-
those things where you like when you're in high school, you just like hear it and then you just keep going on with your day. You don't
You're
be
like,
like,
yeah.
"Hey, we should look into this." Instead, you just tell everybody.
There's
and
always
then
a
that's
video,
it.
but you haven't seen it.
Yeah, but you also don't even think about it. You're just like, "Oh, that's a fact now. That
Oh
person."
yeah, that
did
girl
that
from
thing.
Central fucked her dog,
Yeah.
or let the dog fuck her. Oh,
Right.
sick. Oh, that
That's
sounds
crazy.
like something.
I'd
someone
like to
friends would
meet
do.
somebody that at least knows for a fact that happened, or the person that did it. That'd be pretty cool too.
That would it be pretty cool to be like, come on, man.
I'd have a lot of questions.
That would.
Like, is the animal okay with it?
Is there is it a peanut butter situation? You know, or
Because
is
sometimes dogs are really horny. Like sometimes all you would have to do is let a dog
Yes.
hump you.
Is that maybe that's just like what it comes to? I love how we're talking about bestiality right now.
Has to,
But
we get there eventually.
But I it is one of the things where it's like, was the dog just humping you, and you're like, well, all right.
Right. Then everybody's kind of had sex with a dog because
Well,
everybody's
I mean,
been
no,
humped by
but
a
like
dog.
everyone's been humped by a dog on their leg. But
Yeah.
I mean, it.
But did you, if you were like enjoying it?
Yeah, where
you
you're
kinda
like,
had
all
sex
right,
with the
I
dog.
might as well. Let's. Hey, Fido, let's take us to the bedroom. You know,
What about sheep and cows? Those seem like easy targets.
for sure. You know, but like, I guess I would be scared to fuck a cow. And this is the only reason why I would be scared to fuck a cow. All other reasons I would fuck a cow.
Yeah.
But
Lactose intolerant.
Pretty. Just can't handle dairy, and that's it just I think cunnilingus.
That's
would
a
just,
Dave Attell joke. I should credit that before I take.
No, but I think like I would just be so scared that they would like fucking kick me
Yeah.
with their huge hooves.
Or who knows what's going on inside there that it would be like, yeah, maybe they have like traps set in there and stuff like. Like ducks, I think they have weird
they have, like, the
vaginas. They have like
corkscrew
traps in
dicks
there.
or whatever.
Yeah, that would like hurt.
Which who was fingering a duck and was like, "What is going on
Yeah,
here?"
yeah. But also, yeah, to have to explain that after would be tough. No doctor's gonna be like
The first guy to figure that out was like, ducks have a corkscrew pussy, and he was like, Frank, how'd you figure that out?
You're like, I'm just guessing they do. I'll be like, wow, you nailed it.
I just stuck a pipe cleaner up there, and it came out all weird.
Yeah,
and I was like, all right,
spot
well,
on. You know way too much.
Frank, what? That's like whoever figured out how like cows produce milk. Like, who's sucking on those fucking titties of a cow?
Yeah, but I mean, it is crazy, man. Humans will pretty much, but then again, animals will pretty much fuck anything too.
Wasn't like gonorrhea came from sheep or something like that? There's some.
I like to believe that, and AIDS came from a monkey.
Yeah, there's some like
that's another thing.
STD.
I take that as fact, and I have no idea if that's real or not.
One person told me that gorillas can't get cancer, and it was like an adult. So I'm gonna take that to my grave.
Yeah,
like there's some gene.
It would
where
take 2 seconds to look it up, but it's like,
yeah, I'm like, can gorillas get cancer? I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's nice knowing they can't. It's almost a better world if they
can't.
Like,
good for you. I get why Jane Goodall like hung out with them so much.
Yeah,
you know? Like can't get cancer. I'm gonna chill with
they're
you guys.
They're never gonna die. That's weird that they can't, but we can.
Yeah. So what was? I think it was like my biology teacher who was like, I wrote my thesis on like the gene and how we should like put it in our bodies or whatever.
Wow.
I was like, gorillas, like fucking gorillas is the cure for cancer? And that's
if
what's
it
going
was.
On? She's like, that's not what I said at all.
That's how I interpreted it. If it was, do you think you would do it?
Fuck a gorilla?
To never get cancer?
Yeah, because
both
my dad and my grandpa have both had cancer. And so I'm like,
almost have to. Yeah.
It's like, I'm just to be safe.
Yeah.
I might as well. Like, that's the problem too. Is my grandpa and my dad both had like some sort of like throat cancer, and here I am still like smoking joints, and I'm like, what are you doing?
You're giving yourself the antibody ahead of time. They probably, what did they do anything? Did they smoke?
My grandpa smoked so much. I don't think my dad did, but also he could just be lying to me.
Yeah, maybe he inherited it from. Maybe it was in your grandpa's ball. It was in your grandpa's sperm, and then when your dad came from that
to my dad.
So yeah, you came from that.
That'd suck. That would suck if I got cancer through my grandpa's balls.
Yeah,
that'd be
and
really
then had
annoying.
to fuck a gorilla.
Like,
you don't seem too upset about the
then
fucking
I'd be
gorilla.
Fucking the gorilla. I'd think of my grandpa watching down me, and I'd be like, Grandpa, are you kidding me right now? Look what you made me do.
You did this to us.
You made me fuck this gorilla.
Poor gorilla.
God, it's not a gorilla. It's like a lemur.
I feel like gorilla sex is very intense. So that if they got it, I feel like fucking a human would be a relief to them. They'd be like, oh, thank God.
I mean, there have been times where like a girl has like pounded on my chest, and I've been like, ow.
Yeah.
Like, stop, that hurts.
Yeah,
so I'd be scared
aggressive.
to fuck a gorilla and then have them pound on my chest and then just cave it in.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
You ever fucked a girl that looked like a gorilla?
I'm trying to think of the women in Turkey that I had sex with. No, not necessarily. No, the girl.
I saw
in
some
Turkey.
flashbacks in your eyes right there.
Yeah,
that was terrifying.
Oh, Becky
like,
from sophomore year wasn't the prettiest.
I'm sure she's doing well now. She probably watches the pod too.
Yeah,
you're probably
Becky.
gonna hear from her.
Becky from Mr. Oliver's home room. You made noises like a gorilla, that's for sure.
Please come back.
Yeah, please.
I miss you.
I miss you. I sent you a text. Text me back.
It's so lonely out here. All right, dude. Well, we made it through.
Wow.
This was
that flew by.
It goes quick, right?
Yeah.
When you're having fun and talking about fucking, I mean, honestly, fucking animals, I feel like I could talk about that for a long time. It's very interesting.
I could go, just like fucking animals, I could go and go and go and go.
Never stop.
Never stop. I would never tire, especially if I'm getting the cure for cancer in the process.
Exactly. What a perfect way to put a bow on this, Tom.
I believe so.
What do you got coming up? Anything? Any gigs, modeling or comedy, otherwise?
No, just working on my hour special. You know,
it's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna hit Netflix in 2025.
There aren't many other male model comedians, so that path is wide open. It's you and Matt Rife.
It's me and
basically.
Matt Rife, and the amount of times that someone's like, "Oh, you fucking remind me of Matt Rife."
Good-looking guys can make it in this world.
Yeah,
you know?
It gives me a little bit of hope. It gives me hope, but yeah, just working on comedy, trying to get up as much as I want to. I don't even want to say like as much as I can. It's more like as much as I want to.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's enough to get up around here. It's just like, do I want to do this?
Yeah, I'm like,
don't want
to perform in front of two people.
Yeah, got to do it, baby.
I know.
Got to put in the work.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, thanks for coming out. We'll have you back after you get a billboard or something.
Yep.
Do something important with your life.